can see for yourself why people would want to live somewhere like this, and you can also see why people need our help. We're NRCS, the Natural Resources Conservation Service, and it's an important part of our mission to reduce the threat to lives and property on private lands. We take our conservation mission seriously, working with local governments and landowners to reduce the risk of potential natural disasters. But once these disasters occur, and they do, we work hard to manage natural resources in the wake of such tragedies and do all that we can to make sure such devastation doesn't happen again. Let's face it, in a perfect world, human foresight and technology would not let this happen. But we don't live in a perfect world, so we do the best that we can with the resources that we have while always striving to do better. In our world, droughts can weaken forested areas, trees become vulnerable to infestations like that of the bark beetle, and circumstances grow ripe for major disaster. It would be hard to overstate the threat that this situation poses to California and its residents. Over the years, more and more people have moved into forested areas. As these communities have grown, so have the economies around them. A wildfire in one of these communities not only would threaten life and destroy property, but would devastate local economies, creating a ripple effect felt far beyond the local region.
NRCS came in about a year ago and spoke to us about the problem with the bark beetles and all the dead trees because of the drought we've had. And we have about 120 acres here at Buckhorn Camp. So when the NRCS came in and decided to help us out, that was wonderful for us. It's really going to help salvage these grounds up here. There's so many dead trees up here and the fire danger is very high.
A state recovering from financial disaster cannot afford to risk more financial threat. Yes, it takes considerable technical knowledge and costs a lot of money to prevent future disasters, but not nearly as much as it would cost once one has occurred. The old adage holds true: an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure, and that certainly holds true in this case.
How do we dispose of this fuel? How do we make sure that we remove those trees that are going to pose the greatest damage in the near future to the lives of people who live in Southern California? And I think it's going to be answered by the counties, by the state, and by the federal government working to improve the facilities, the infrastructure that's needed. Because again, fuel management in California is going to continue to be a large factor well into the future.
The problem is big, too big for just one agency to effectively address. That's why NRCS works with other federal, state, and local agencies with the expertise to address this problem. It's our unified plan that's working, and our Emergency Watershed Protection Program is a prime example. NRCS takes a watershed approach to management. First, reduce the fire threat by reducing the fuel load. That's where our Watershed Recovery Project comes in. In concert with various political subdivisions of the state and private contractors, we work to remove dead and dying trees, thus minimizing the fire threat. The dead trees are reclaimed in various ways: lumber, landscaping mulch, electricity production, and other wood byproducts. This is only one side of the story. Once the trees are gone, whether from cutting or from fire, comes the even more daunting task of soil erosion and resource management. But it's a challenge that NRCS is ready to meet. Our environmental programs and erosion control measures are designed to conserve precious natural resources for generations to come. We look at the big picture, the whole watershed, one that includes prevention and follow-up. That's why this program is working.
It's critical, especially after fires or the removal of trees, to not only look at the tree removal or the fire recovery, but also look at the impacts of wildlife habitat, the impacts of erosion control, and those types of things after those natural occurrences occur.
Sure, we've got a long way to go, but the Natural Resources Conservation Service, NRCS, is on the front lines of this effort to protect life and property. It's a tough fight, and it's one that we can't afford to lose. Too much is at stake, too much economically for our state, and too much for individuals and their families.
Natural Resources Conservation Service is working very well within the communities in their traditional role working one-on-one with the landowners and the land users, as well as helping to remove the dead and dying trees. We're still experiencing increasing numbers of dead and dying trees. So NRCS is working on a daily basis throughout the county and with the partners to help alleviate the problem.
At NRCS, we recognize that protecting communities is a team effort, with every partner playing an important role. We will succeed in this effort with your support and cooperation. We will protect life and property. We must do nothing less. Thank you for your help, and thank you for continuing to stand with us. Your partnership makes our work possible.